Hey, it's Brett here. Got a quick lesson on some real simple core competencies with leadership and basically defining leadership from levels of advancement with it. There's obviously not some clear-cut objective thing with it, but try to break it down so you understand, like, as you grow as a leader, where you fall within some of these spectrums on here. And as time goes on, that definition of leader and how you show up with other people starts to change. So, and this is not my stuff. This is something John Maxwell put together on it. I'm just trying to put a little bit of color to it to kind of have a better understanding how it applies. But level one is position. So basically, you're given a title of employer or boss or whatever you want to call it that causes people to view you as the leader. In other words, I could be a really crappy person, but I have a title that is your boss, therefore I'm your leader whether you like it or not. So this is the lowest position on here because you don't really actually need any skill, you just need a title for it. The second step is permission. And permission is something where it can have a little bit to do with your role, but it has to do with respect. So does a person respect you as somebody who's going to lead them in the right direction on stuff? So if you got a group of people, ultimately there's going to kind of be one person that prevails that everybody else says, you know what, that's the person who I'm going to listen to, I'm going to follow because they step out from the pack. They've earned your trust, they've earned your respect from them. So that's a permission piece that's on there. So basically just put a trust thing. You have their best interest in mind. And then there's the production side. This is the guy who's ultimately really good at what he does. Like he's the best at doing this. Therefore, he separates himself from the pack as the best one at doing this. The other people look up to him to learn how to do what he does and to produce what he produces on there. So again, this could be somebody who may not be real vocal with stuff, but they're dang good at the art, the skill, the craft of what they do. Therefore, people follow them. They're like, that guy knows his stuff, I'm following him. Typically, they develop trust already as well too, but they're the person, like I said, that ultimately their results are the piece that people are following on there. And then we get kind of a line here that gets drawn with this, where when you get into level 4 and level 5, level 4 particularly is about people. You're developing people at that point. You spend more time and more focus on the people around you than the product or the process or whatever it is that on there. So you're really focusing on how do I take Jim over here and help Jim become a better trusted person, help Jim become a better producer of what he does on there. So you're really focusing on the individuals at that point. This is a big leap. Like when people go from here to here, that's what allows businesses to grow. It's what allows a group to advance themselves, because that person now all of a sudden says, how do I make the people around me better? So again, people driven. This is all about development at that point in time. And then this Pinnacle piece down here is the individual, or in this case an organization even, that's developing these types of leaders on there, because now all of a sudden this Pinnacle type of situation, that individual can step almost back out of for a period of time, and there's enough people here that are focused on developing people that keeps perpetuating itself that's on there. This is ultimately, like I said, kind of leaving a legacy at that point, because you're creating people that create more people that advance themselves and grow along the way on there. So the big thing is that ultimately our goal with any organization is how do we get as many people to cross this line right there? How do we get them to go from focusing on just the product in front of us, just the process and the nuts and bolts of stuff, to really getting into how do I make the people around me better? So when you look at really trying to grow here, a person that says, hey, you know what, I'm here right now, this is focused on doing. Get really good with what you do, because the better you get good with what you do, the people start to trust you and respect you. The people around you start to see the results you produce. And as time goes on, now all of a sudden they're listening to you more. They're taking feedback better. They're really, like I said, ultimately tuned into you, which in turn makes you a better leader. The teacher appears when the students are ready type of deal. So really work on, in the beginning, your skill set. How do you advance your skill set? When you get up into here, that people part, you got to listen better, and you got to start seeing what do those people want and how do I help them get what they want, which ultimately helps the whole group. So hopefully that helps.